You're listening to Ordinary Eccentrics. I'm Courtney Lofton, and together we'll uncover the extraordinary lives of ordinary people. Let's hop into it. Hello.
Hello, Courtney. What's popping?
Hello, can you hear me? Hi, I'm good, Omanzo.
Yeah, I'm
How are
hearing you
you?
loud and clear.
Okay,
I'm
awesome.
doing better than good, better than most, and sometimes even better.
I was like, sometimes even better. I was waiting for
Yeah,
something else. Better than good, better than most, and sometimes even better.
exactly. And that's facts. That's facts.
I like that. Okay, so we're gonna start right in. If you want to introduce yourself, first and last name.
All right. So I'll say my first name is Omanzo, my last name is Barrett, and my title is billionaire. Some persons now want to say Mr. or Miss. I like to use the word billionaire in front of my title. So it's billionaire Omanzo Barrett.
Nice.
Um, something I'm 25 years of age. I have two
Hmm.
sons. They are my wives. 1 5, 1 10. What's interesting about me, I'm a twin. So I was
Oh.
born a twin. That's very interesting.
Hmm.
My passion and my purpose is to inspire persons to inspire themselves to become the best version of themselves. Um, I do
Yes.
skydiving. I do scuba diving. I'm an author. I own a media company. What else am I missing? Yeah, those good stuff.
Nice. So, where
Yeah.
were you born? Where were you born and raised? We're gonna
Oh,
start with.
origin. Okay. All right. So I was born at Spanish Town Hospital December 18. It was a Friday, I was told. in St. Catherine, Jamaica. So I'm an island boy. I say an island man. Yeah. Um we're a family of, well, remember, I've I've had 11, no, 9 kids. So we're a family of 11 growing up. We grew up in a very, very humble and I would say very poor beginning. Very, very poor. And I'll, if I can, I'll share this
Mhm.
quick story. Imagine, you want to brush your teeth, right? And you're not
Mhm.
able to get toothpaste. Imagine being sent to the nearest corner shop to buy table salt, not for cooking, as you might be thinking, but to basically use to brush your teeth, right?
Mhm.
And then there were days when we couldn't afford to go and buy table salt. So the next best thing was to actually borrow salt from our neighbor under pretense it was for cooking, but deep down we know it was actually for brushing our teeth. So that's the kind of poverty I kind of where I was coming from. But what's weird is like when you're in a
Mm.
situation, we weren't aware we're there. Is when you get older and start see, a community different family members. You're like, whoa, I'm poor. And I think that
Mhm.
also it works in two ways. It allowed me to be very humble, right? To know that okay,
Mhm.
cool, I'm from very humble beginning, and it also helped me to strive to actually get more. So at least my children will never have to experience that what I experienced. So it's a two-way for me. It's a two-way sword.
Yes, I think it's mentioned. You don't even realize until you compare yourself to other people or you see what someone else is living
Correct.
Life like
what was life like early on, especially with all of your siblings and your twin? Like, where, what was your childhood like? Just especially when you say like you didn't really know until you could see other family members or how someone else was living.
Yeah. So we used to live. And it's funny. Like you asked me question, it carried me right back to there. All of us as
Hmm.
siblings, we were in one room. We were living in one room. It's weird. I didn't even know.
Hmm.
I wasn't. I guess I kind of suppressed it but yeah, we're living in one room, right? And then all the there were
Get
three beds
along.
in the room. We get along for the most part, then we fight, and it's crazy. And it's very, very interesting. Like my my twin brother and I, we fight a lot, right, against each other, and
Uh-huh.
then together we fight everyone else. If that makes sense.
Okay,
So
yeah.
we fight
Pretty
amongst
typical.
ourselves, but then no one
Yeah.
want to fight us because it's they call double trouble. If you're fighting one, you have to fight two. So yeah, yeah.
So
So
what
it's
was it?
like reflecting on.
Yeah,
Oh,
go
go
ahead.
ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
I'm just gonna keep asking about like growing up in Jamaica
With so many siblings.
also. Like I'm curious, are you still close with them, even though you are you guys all like friends, or do you have all kind of went separate ways
Yeah, we
or
went
different
separate.
directions, I would say.
First we went separate ways, and first thing first, I lost one of my siblings. He's second eldest of us. He passed in 20, 2008. He passed.
Oh wow.
That's when he passed. Yeah, that was when I was in college. We're as siblings. We are
Mm.
not close as we are to, but what's very interesting. I went to Jamaica 2 weeks ago, and we actually had
Mm.
a kind of like a sibling beach day, where all of us as siblings came, and we're at the beach, and we're just reminiscing. And that was the first time I could recall all of us were in one space at that point in time. Is it,
Wow, that's
yeah,
amazing.
so yeah. So I just think about it, like right now I'm having like kind of goosebumps just thinking about this. Oh, we're just there, like we're on the beach at the water, and we're all there just talking, and my kids meeting actually, my other sibling kids and cousins and all that coming together,
Hmm.
niece and nephews. It was really good. It was really good.
How long had it been since you'd connected with
The
like your
last
family
time
like that?
The last time we kind of like that was when my mom passed in
Hmm.
2017. That was the last time, we were like together like that. So that's been
Yeah.
years ago. Yeah.
Yeah, I
So
really relate to that. I had a lot of family that I never like we just didn't get together unless there was a funeral. And then when I was in college and was like very homesick, I would be like, please let's do something positive.
yeah. So and it's good because like that's why having that session or that togetherness in Jamaica, we're planning
Hmm.
now because I create this group for family, and we're planning that every year we're gonna basically do something like this. It's simple. Just we just have a day, we just go together on the beach, we meet up, and just spend that time with the family.
Yes.
It doesn't have to be when someone pass. We gather together. No, we can gather together and keep that family structure.
Yeah.
And different lessons we have learned. Growing up. So yeah.
What number, I guess numbers child are you and your
Yes.
twin?
Oh, yeah. All right. So we are. Well, I am. We're second to last set. So I've got a younger sister. So I would say we are 7, 8. So I'm 8. I'm 7. My brother is 8.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, you're the firstborn twin.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I was told. I was there,
Yeah.
but I wasn't conscious. So I always say this. I'm like, they told me I'm the eldest one. I'm not sure, but they say that. I'm not quite sure.
I imagine that would be really fun to be the youngest sibling of so many siblings.
Yeah, and it was going back to what you say, like it was bittersweet in a sense, and there's many
Hmm.
lessons I've gotten like from my siblings. Like for example, my eldest sibling, like he was like someone who we look up to. He was more he was more of a friend figure to us in
Mm,
comparison growing up to our second eldest sibling, right? He was more
mm,
the father role. He was more the disciplinarian, and like I could not like see eye to eye. I resented him for being that. But once I get older, right,
hmm.
I understand what he was trying to do. He was
Yeah.
very hard on us because he wanted to actually also actually be better. After complete high school, he flipped literally. He became like that best friend you wanted. you know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So like is when I got older, I understand that whoa, he really and truly didn't necessarily quote unquote want to be a father figure, but to ensure
Uh-huh.
that he protect us, so we're actually on the right path.
Mhm.
That's what he had to do. Yeah. So each one of them played the different roles, different aspect parts in my life, which is huge. Really huge.
Yeah.
Those two were huge in my life.
Amazing. It's like he got you to his goal where he wanted to like be that parent authority figure, and then like you guys were able to separate and be, or once you reach that goal you're able to be
Good.
just actual siblings. Yeah.
Siblings. Yeah, yeah, literally.
That's
And
cool.
it's weird. It's like all of my siblings actually
Mhm.
have the same resentment towards him, literally. But then yeah, literally, and he was considered to be my mother's favorite.
Oh
So it's
yeah.
like yeah, yeah, and I no I understand why he was a favorite, because he, as to me, it was more screwed on than all of us. He was like person who was like, all right, cool, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this. And sad to say, he was one who actually passed in 2000
Oh, I'm sorry.
2008. Yeah, yeah. And it's weird, it flipped. I became my mom's quote unquote favorite. So it's like whatever he was doing, I became that person. I was like, everything my mom was confining me about, and like, we need to do this, we need to do that. So I became that favorite, which brought some resentment as well.
Yeah.
As in, the father siblings, they're like, because like when I left high school, college in 2010, I moved from home to a
Mhm.
different parish in different area in Jamaica, and everything that was happening at the house, my mom always tell me, even though I'm not there, right? So they were like, why you know all these things and we don't know, and you're not even here. So that
Mhm.
creates a whole lot of resentment, but just because um it was at a point in time where I matured, and I
Mhm.
was able to, like, see things from a different level. Not saying they're not mature, but I was able to see things in a different level. But no, we're all cool now. Like, everyone comes to me about any little thing,
Yeah.
and it just work out. I guess when we're young, in that stage, you're like, why you're favoring this person over this person? But it's not, it's a favoring, or I think about it, it's really just, she just trusts me with sharing things in comparison to other siblings, and that's just, and it's okay.
Yeah, the trust. You're
Yes.
trustworthy.
Yeah.
So I want to ask more about the growing up because this just came into my mind when you were talking about like brushing your teeth with salt. I
Mm-hmm.
would like one of my favorite toothpaste is just this salt toothpaste, and it's like very abrasive because I don't like flossing, so I didn't want to floss. So I was like, I want to use
Mm-hmm.
something that I can use, and I literally just basically bought salt in a tube and was brushing my teeth with it, and
Mm-hmm.
it just makes me think about how there's like a way of living where you're using your resources, you're having to be resourceful, and you use what you have to live, and then you learn so much about how to live, and like not, instead of depending on having to buy things, you're able to know what you need and what does what. Do you think that sort of knowledge, intelligence has helped you to be where you are now, and it kind of helped you along the path of life?
Definitely, I would definitely agree with you, because my twin brother, we're like best friends, and we always have this conversation, just like, oh, we are like sharing things. We are very resourceful, and like, there's nothing that really ticks us off. We can have a very bad day, and
Mhm.
it's okay. For example, just say, even what we eat per se,
Mhm.
I don't necessarily need to have a filet mignon. I'm quite fine. Like, literally, I'll just eat just for energy, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
Right?
Yeah.
You literally just for energy, and like with clothing and all these things, right? I just want things for not the design, but for the utility, the
Yes.
purpose of it. Makes sense? So I want
Yes.
a shoe because shoes can actually be weird to protect my feet. I wear the clothes to protect me. I don't necessarily need, uh designer this, designer that. And it's okay if a person want that. I'm not bashing no one, it's quite fine. But growing up from that perspective, right, that
Mhm.
allowed me to really be resourceful and don't get too tied on to, you know, the quote unquote flashiness of
Mhm.
this world. I need a car that will be reliable to carry me from A to B. I need a phone that will make the call, right? And I'm
Yep.
okay. And that itself, it, it allows me to not create those undue stresses, you know, that
Yes.
I deliberately put myself into. you know I have shelter and I'm okay. Not saying you need to not aspire for more. Of course aspire for more, but my aspiration is not for me. It's to ensure that my children, you know the inheritance, that they are good, so I'm
Mhm.
able to look at the world in that way. So that those lessons are those experiences from a young age, has shaped me to be very resourceful.
Mhm. That's
Yeah.
amazing. And it's so amazing because for me growing up in America, I grew up in a small town, but still like very much like a lot of commercials and things thrown in your face to make you feel like you need this, you need that. And then even I think what's so interesting that you said you eat for energy because I feel like a lot of people in can end up in this boat of eating because they're bored or just for entertainment or to like it not just for sustenance, right? And I feel like I've seen people around me, people in my family close to me, like try to retrain their mindset to use
Mhm.
food as fuel and because because food can be addicting too, and especially like the food here, it's got so much salt in it, it's like made to make you want more and more and more. It's like you got all these huge like important uh longevity
Lessons with
lessons.
food. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
And now you've got this really great foundation to go anywhere. Like you've got the ability to resist and to not be absorbed by capitalism, I
Society.
guess. Yes, and
Yeah, society.
society and
What's happening?
expectations. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very interesting. You say that, but you were saying that something came to my memory. I remember my chamber that I our goal I had growing up, right?
Hmm.
When I was in high school, our goal was this: when we start working, our goal is just to buy sneakers, right? Different
Hmm.
colors of sneakers. That was actually how small our goal was. We wanted that job so we can buy different sneakers, colors, right?
Hmm.
And it's weird, that goal was never realized, but it's okay because like when we actually were able to do it, we're like,
Hello.
yeah, sorry about that, Courtney.
Okay, that's better.
Yeah, a call came in because we're using the same device. I was like, what? So sorry about that.
Oh,
Yeah,
no, it's okay. I thought it was mine because I'm in Indonesia, so my internet goes out sometimes too. I was like, oh shoot.
yeah,
But that's all good. Well, let's go right back into it. So you're
yeah,
talking about you were wanting to buy two different color shoes, but
oh yeah,
then you worked for the money, and what happened?
yeah. So we start working, and that dream and that goal to have different colors sneakers wasn't
Hmm.
realized. You know,
Yeah.
I guess we figured out, that was important, you know,
Yeah.
but it just show how, I would say, the low vibration that we mind was at. That was a big goal for us to work to ensure we get the qualification we needed in high school to get a job.
Right.
Yeah. And I remember last year, um, I had this friend, we were doing this wedding together, the
Hmm.
photography for this wedding, and some conversation came up about the cost for shoes, and I was like, I cannot recall I've spent no more in my entire life for a shoes that cost more than say $60. And it's like you're lying.
Mhm.
I'm dead serious. I've never. And he's like, what do you mean? What about the shoes? I'm like, no, it was on sale. You know, so
Yeah.
it's just interesting sometimes. Like, and everyone has their own. I would say what they like, what they spend money on
Mhm.
is okay. Not to bash anyone, but for me, you know, it has to I have to see some amount of returning per se and what I'm spending on, except for say, me going skydiving and me going scuba diving. That's just that kind of adrenaline side of me where some person don't see why I do that, but
Mhm.
that's why I try to understand. I understand persons who quote unquote they will go out the way and they'll be
Right.
in this designer stuff, and it's okay if you can afford it, quite fine, but don't do it because you want quote unquote to please somebody who really and truly is not really looking at you.
Right.
If that makes sense, do it because you and truly genuinely art of arts want to do it, not because you want to impress someone. That's why. Oh,
Right.
yeah,
I think that's great that you say that you enjoy the experiences. So you like skydiving stuff like adrenaline experiences,
yeah,
and you'd rather spend money on that than material things that like it might give you a little bit of a high when you first buy it, but
yeah.
it's not going to buy you long-term happiness or even success if that's what you're hoping for.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. So what are your goals for yourself, and I guess especially out of high school and going into, well, yeah, what did you do after high school?
All right. So after high school, um I decided that I wanted to be a police officer, because it
Okay.
was the quickest thing. Not that I wanted to be a police officer, but it was a job that, is stable, yeah, benefits. I was like, okay,
Mhm.
cool. I'll be a police officer. And it's funny, my brother who passed, he was one who told me about it. So we went to do the test together. And I failed. I failed the test. And I was really upset. I was like, you know, and then after that, after I failed the test, I started working at this supermarket where I was actually
Mhm.
literally like packing bags. I was in the cashier, I was packing bags at the cashier counter. And it was good
Mhm.
because it was easy. It didn't take any brain power. And after 3 months, I got laid off. And I was upset.
Of
I was
course.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, I was like, and it's interesting, like the manager for some market, he was like, you don't belong here. He's like,
Mm.
yeah, and I was like, what do you mean you don't belong here? He's like, you have way too much information. You're educated. You need to do more with your education. But I was upset.
Mhm.
I was like, I'm getting income from right here. Why are you doing this? You know.
Yeah.
So I didn't feel good in the moment, but I guess it had to happen. So what? Then after by me being there, I'd met this lady. I call her my mother right now. His name is Minute Anderson Myers, right? I met her
Mhm.
at the supermarket, and she invited me to church, and I went to church. I was always going to church, and she kind of adopted me as like say, her son. And
Mhm.
one day she asked me, she's like, "What are you doing? For school? You're gonna go college?" And I'm like, "Yeah," but the answer was like, "But I don't have any money." And she's like, "I'll be your first guarantor." So she was one who impressed college and me. I always wanted to
Oh.
go, but I was like, I was qualified in terms of like the grades and all this stuff, but the money was was a no. You know,
Yeah.
in my head, I was like, I have to work first, save money, and then go to college. But probably if I'd done that, I would make it. So anyway, she was like, I'll be your first guarantor. So that was good. So she told me I should go and apply for student loan. I applied for student loan, and I applied for college, and then I needed to get another guarantor. So it's weird. I didn't even ask for second guarantor either. I went to my high school to get a reference, and I was speaking to my geography teacher, Miss McNair, as to be my reference, and she was like, "Do you have a guarantor?"
Mhm.
And I was like, "No." So I have a guarantor as well. So I got two guarantors without even asking for them. So
Oh.
yeah, so I'm saying, so and I was able to complete college and get my bachelor's in the 4 years. I'm saying that to
Mhm.
say this, right? if I'd not failed the first interview, I failed the test for the police officer, I would
Mm-hmm.
go to work at supermarket and I would meet Miss Anderson and she wouldn't be my guarantor at Timberboat College. So probably I would be stuck actually just being at the supermarket, just being there, and then time is passing. I'm not saying jobs, nothing wrong with being a bad person, but if you want more from life, you should not stay there. Make sense?
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
So he letting me go and saying those things, it worked out in my favor. At
Mm-hmm.
the time, though, I was upset. But looking back, I'm like, thanks very much, Mr. Lee. I appreciate you. I appreciate you telling me to go.
Yeah, because he was doing it for your best interest.
Yeah. Yep, 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 yep.
So it seems like you've had some things happen to you that kind of shifted the trajectory of your life in the direction that it was meant to.
Yep, definitely. And that's what I always say. And I'm gonna try to share this story with you. My twin brother told me the story and I always share it, where it says, everything in life, right, that happens, no matter how bad it may be, there's always something positive to come from it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the story goes like this: there was this king, and he had this minister. The minister is very positive, and is always telling the king that everything happens to you in life, is always something positive to get from it. And the king never really believed him, but he was like, okay, cool, keep on talking. So one day the king was sharpening his sword, and accidentally he cut off one of his finger and one of his toe, right? The
Mm-hmm.
minister, being the positive person who is, was like, it's okay, king, it's gonna be all right. There's something positive to get from this happening to you, this ordeal. He was upset, and in a rage, he actually banished the minister to be locked up in prison. You know, time passed, and the king went on a pilgrimage, right? And on that pilgrimage, he was actually captured by some bandits. And these bandits, they believe in sacrificing, their captives to their gods. So they literally had the king and was about to sacrifice the king when they noticed he was missing a finger and he was missing a toe. And they
Mm-hmm.
cut him down, and because he's not old, so they can actually sacrifice him to their god. He has to be without blemish. So they release him. When they release him, upon him returning back to his kingdom, he released actually his minister from prison, and it was like, I finally actually understand, the positive that basically came from me losing my finger and me losing my toe. But what he cannot understand is why was a positive to be received by sending the minister in prison. And the minister laughed and says, remember, as a minister, right, wherever you go, I go, right? So if you didn't put me in prison when they noticed you're missing a finger and missing a toe, I would be their best candidate.
Ah,
Yeah, 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 you're right. So that's how I try to live my life. Like every single thing, there's a seed of greater benefit. Out of every,
yes.
there's a seed. You might not see, like you won't see it in a moment, but in hindsight, it always comes out. Always from, and that's how I live my life. So no matter what I'm going through, I'm able to just like, okay, there's something that's gonna unfold a second from this, a day from this, a month, a year, whenever it's gonna
Mm-hmm.
unfold. So that give me the assurance to be like, just go through it, because something positive can always come out of whatever difficulty that I'm facing.
I think that's amazing, and I love that story because I feel like the most important thing, especially what you've just said, is that it's not immediate. It may be months, years from now, and
Yes.
the hindsight will show you, oh, that it will fit together like the pieces of a puzzle.
Yep.
And for sometimes, even I do this, when something's going wrong, I try to console myself by saying, okay, well, there's something positive in everything, and I try to find the thing right in the
Yeah,
moment so I can feel better.
yeah,
And then I sometimes I don't, and I get really discouraged. But it is upon hindsight when you do look back and see, oh wow, had that not happened, I wouldn't have learned how to do this. I wouldn't have met this person or connected these dots. Like that is such a powerful story and a lesson to tell.
yeah. It's so true. Even like people going through breakups. Like in a breakup, you cannot tell someone you can, but they're not gonna listen to you. Like it's okay. You can just break up. It's gonna be okay. You cannot. Someone is grieving. You can. They are hearing you, but they are not hearing you. You make
Yeah.
sense? Yeah.
Yeah.
So like for me, like my first breakup, like that was devastating. Like devastating.
Mm.
Like I got engaged February 14th, Valentine's Day, right? 2010,
Mm.
in my last semester. And she said, yes, yes, someone's I'll marry you. Then 3 months down the road, she said no.
Mm.
And I was devastated, like literally devastated. And I couldn't understand. And like my mindset wasn't where it was. No, it wasn't there back then. Right?
Mhm.
I wasn't able to look at that. So going through that ordeal at that breakup, right? That brought me so many things.
What did you learn about yourself? Oh, just gonna stay on and wait.
Courtney.
Yes.
Okay, okay. I don't know what's going on. Like these calls in, and it's weird. It's actually a scam like the call. So I'm like, come on, why are you calling right now? Couldn't you call after or before?
But you're working on call, so you do have to keep your phone uh on so you can get any calls.
Yeah. But I'm wondering,
Yeah.
how do I stop all calls? What can I do?
You can put that on do not disturb.
Okay, but oh, you know what? Let me find that. Do not disturb. If I go in airplane mode, it's gonna. How do I do that? Tell me.
Airplane mode.
Yeah, if I'm gonna
Airplane mode will.
take you
I
off.
don't think. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Airplane mode will do it. So are you an iPhone?
Yeah, but airplane mode, I think, will take you off as well, right?
No, because I'm in airplane mode right now. It
Okay.
just keeps you from using data. So I guess like you will still get like anything that uses Wi-Fi to send a message or whatever. But okay, you can find do not disturb in the same place as airplane mode.
Well,
All you gotta do
mhm.
is drag your finger from the top of the screen and it'll pull down kind of like a whole screen of little icons. Do you see that?
Yeah, I see some. I see airdrops. I see still a data, Bluetooth, airplane mode.
Do you see focus button?
Hmm?
Do you see a focus button? A button that says focus?
I don't see. Oh yeah, I see focus. Okay, okay.
Click that and then do not disturb.
I get it. I got it. Thank you very. I appreciate this. Wonderful.
Yes.
So now we're focused.
Yes.
Good.
And you put on do not disturb?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Just remember to take it off when you're
Exactly.
done because I have left it on and people are like, "Are you okay?"
Yeah, you're like, yeah, what happened? I'm focusing.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so we were talking about your relationship that didn't work out. I think this is a valuable conversation to have
Yeah.
because um, a lot of people get out of relationships and kind of lose this sense of self and are like, now what? So, first of all, what was your mindset when when that first happened and your engagement didn't work out? What were you thinking and feeling?
All right. So let me try to go back. I've go back to that feeling. It's the first time I can recall like crying like, over like losing relationship. Like I cried. I wanted to
Mhm.
disappear. I didn't know what to do. Um, I wanted it to work, and
Mhm.
the breakup, what caused the breakup was crazy, right? She told me she cheated, right? And she's like, I love
Mhm.
you, but I'm not in love with you anymore. And she's saying that, as she said that, I was like, I understand, but let us work at it. And I was okay. Where I told her it's okay for you to go and be with this person one more time, at least get out the system, so we can actually get back to where we were. That was how desperate I was to really hold on
Mhm.
or be in this relationship. Which, when I think about it, that's really dumb, right? But that was just how desperate I was. Like, I vested I was. So it was very devastating for me, you know.
Mhm.
And I think the only thing that basically get me through it, right, to get through anybody anything at all, is time.
Yeah.
It's easy to say, just give it time. But in reality, time is gonna heal everything or kill everything. Time does everything. But some person time faster than some. So what happened, going through the heartbreak and want to work, and then she was like, no, it's not gonna work. I had to just accept.
Mhm.
My mindset no wasn't there. That I wasn't on this journey of personal development. I wasn't reading these books. I didn't have no personal development at that point in time. I was just
Yeah.
going with what society say goes, you know. So it broke me.
Mhm.
But as time passed, I met my eldest son mother. But I know started dating, and she kind of helped me in the sense that where I was like, yeah, you're worth something. You know, life's not over. And I
Mm.
started to say, enjoy, like, just enjoy and just being okay. That okay, cool. This wasn't supposed to happen, and this is where we are right now. And that with time allowed me to be where I was comfortable to say, "Alright, cool." Somewhat it happened for a reason. But then, like,
Mhm.
fast forwarding, like to know to all the different things that I've done, accomplished, I'm doing, I'm going to do. If that did not took place, there's just no way we will be here at this point in time having this conversation. That's facts.
Right. Right. So, like, just like you said, everything happens kind of for a reason and to prepare you. Like, you needed those lessons about yourself and like that to even jumpstart that process of self-discovery.
Definitely, definitely, definitely.
What has that been like for you? Like, like the self-discovery, self-exploration, all of the, I guess, like the spiritual journey, really.
I would say spiritual per se, like, cause like I was always this kind of person who I guess
Hmm.
I grew up in Christianity church, right?
Okay.
That's how we grew up from that standpoint. So when it comes down to the personal development side, we weren't taught that, and I used to look on personal development as nonsense. When you talk about the law of attraction, I was like, that's stupid. That
Ah.
make no sense. Because just the way I was I grew up,
Hmm.
I was like, that don't make any sense. But what shifted was my brother introduced me, my twin brother introduced me to the industry of network marketing. And that's when I was low key introduced to personal development, you know, expanding the mind, different
Hmm.
thinking. But I got into internet marketing not for personal development. It was just to actually make money. But then to make money, you need education, and they basically educate you on certain stuff. So I started, reading books, listening audios, and
Hmm.
that rewire my programming.
Yeah.
And literally, I was literally rewire programming. And it's funny thing I said, use the word programming. All of us have been programmed. All of
Yep.
us have been programmed at some point or other. We've all been programmed. But when you can deliberately take what you want and program your own self, that's the best way. So I start
Hmm.
taking what I want to program myself to be the person I want to be, not what society say I should be. So that
Hmm.
was the big. I started a journey of the big shift for me in terms of not just spirituality, but the
Yes.
mindset shift.
No, I get that. How can you describe kind of what some of the shifts were?
All right, so let's shift for, like, for example, scarcity mindset, limited beliefs. If for example I say I'm billionaire Barrett, some person will say you're arrogant. Why you say billionaire Barrett? Because they don't understand why I'm saying that. Makes sense.
Yeah.
So like that I'm able to say that, and I'm able to, you know, accept myself for who I am. I first and first, so I'm able to develop my personal my self esteem, because I had very low self esteem. I don't know if you're aware that I kind of stutter as well, right? I stammer, whatever maybe. And when I was younger, I didn't even like to talk because I'm like, you're stuttering, you're stammering, you know.
Mm.
Yeah, and that, and I'm gonna go back to come forward,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Let's do it.
I remember my first experience of experience low self esteem. My brother had a friend. We went out of town, and we went out of town on a bus. So how the bus system works, we actually ask for a bus stop. It's not like here where you press a button or whatever. You have to like tell the bus driver, like, say, bus stop, one stop.
Hmm.
Yeah. So I was about probably say 10 or 8 around that time, and he was actually like trying to like teach me to like ask for my stop when I reach my stop. So
Hmm.
my stop was coming up, and he was like, ask for your stop. And I was so afraid to like speak, but I kind of tried to speak, and I was like, bus stop. But I was like whispering, bus stop. So
Hmm.
he was like, stop louder so they can hear you. And I was like, bus stop, please. And I said like 3 times, bus stop, please. But they weren't hearing. And I guess I got so upset. I was like, Mr. Want a bus stop, please. And everyone in the bus like started laughing. And that shut like messed me up totally. Like totally messed up. Like from 8 year old all the way through high school, right? It was hard to even go on a bus and ask somebody to stop. To how hard it was, I will be at the bus stop and I stay at the bus stop for hours until someone who was going where close to my house, right? So they can ask for the
Mhm.
stop, and I come off and walk the extra distance back home. That was how low my self-esteem was in actually opening my mouth to ask for something as simple as a bus stop. So
Mhm.
going coming forward now to going through the personal development, these lessons, these mentors allowed me to really rewire and dealt with those limited belief, those self-esteem issues to actually really accept myself that you're complete. You're
Mhm.
resourceful. There's no one else like you. And your stuttering is okay. Whatever you are, that's you. You're unique in
Mhm.
your own way. And it's even weird to like even my name Omanzo, I didn't like it. Because people be like, your name is so unusual. And I'm like, I didn't understand. Like it wasn't older. I was able to rewire the word unusual with unique. So when someone say
Right.
unusual to me, all I hear no is oh unique. I don't hear unusual as a bad thing. I hear unique. I'm like, thanks very much. I'm the one that's my name.
Right.
you know? So it's like I put everything, the shift in me, really and truly, the big shift with personal development. That is what basically
Mhm.
changed like my entire trajectory of my life and where I'm going and still can keep going.
Yes. So, what advice would you have for someone who's still in that place of not feeling confident, having low self-esteem, like, hearts racing when it's time for them to speak because like I think in our hearts we want to, but it just it gets hard to like cross over that barrier of like actually like speaking our voice, like just speaking with our voice and using our voice. What advice would you have for someone who is still in that place and experiencing that?
uh, to be fair, I would say I know it can be challenging. It can be very challenging, right? And my advice, I
Mhm.
would say, just know that you are resourceful, right? You are here
Mhm.
for a reason. You have something to offer. You were created the way or you created for some reason. It doesn't have to be a top-notch speaker, right? Just be
Mhm.
you and accept you for who you are. And to sum it up, look in the mirror, look directly at you in the mirror, and just look in the mirror and accept that person for who that person is, and then start work from there. Because right at the end, you are complete. What matter what's going on in your mind or what you're seeing, that's who you are. Accept yourself
Mhm.
first, who you are, and then everything else will come into play.
And how have you seen that self-acceptance uh play out for you and like the things that you attract in your life and the things that you seek out?
It's crazy. Like, I was afraid to look myself in the mirror when I was younger because I was afraid
Oh.
of what I would see. It's so weird, right? But the point when I was able to like look in the mirror and accept every quote unquote societal faults, I know that basically works for me. That
Mhm.
realization, just allowed me to just be authentic, you
Mhm.
know, and just know that you have something to bring to the table like anybody else you know and it's funny
Right.
I'm saying that like because we're in this world now with social media where it can be challenging and personally understand that social media like is not real for the most part, keyword for the
Right.
most part, because like a person posting a photo, they did not take one photo, they literally take like 10, 50. I'm in photography so I know, right, and they choose
Mhm.
one, and we are looking for that perfect imperfect life because of what
Mhm.
society or social media is putting out there, which is something you will not achieve. You will not gonna because even person who probably is hearing right now and they are aware that okay, cool. When I take a picture, I take 10 photos and I choose the best one and I post. Even though
Right.
we are aware of it, right? We
Mhm.
still, for some way, still trying for that perfection, which is not in terms of that particular improvement is good, but don't let society or social media dictate what is authentic.
Yes, I definitely agree with that. So we've connected through Jay Shetty Coaching School.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious how you came into life coaching. I feel like you're an excellent coach and I love your insights. So, how did you come to the Jay Shetty Coaching School? Have you had a life coach before or any experience with a life coach? And like, what brings you here?
All right. So what brings me there is interesting story. All right. So I
Mhm.
had no experience in life coaching before. I had on my vision board years ago, as in 2014, 2015. I had my vision board. Uh, I want to be a success coach. I was never aware of it until when I enrolled. I was like, shoot, I had this on my vision board years back, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and just manifesting all these years after. So what got into
Mm.
coaching, working in coaching, right? I always like see like Jisheti actually, on social media, this quote
Mhm.
unquote monk, and was reading actually think like a monk, like cause
Mhm.
I read books. I read like 10 pages per day. That's why I read books. So I got this book. I was reading 10 pages per day. So my girlfriend at the time, she saw me reading book, and she saw it fit that for Father's Day, that was in Father's Day is in June. She saw it fit
Mhm.
that he loves to read. I'm gonna get him some for Jay Shetty, and she gave me the book, Eight Rules of Love. So I was reading the book, and then she sent a link to me about the course. When I got the link, right, I thought I was gonna go into coaching as like well, no, I thought I was gonna be a speaker, literally. I wasn't going for
Mm.
coaching. I was going to actually say be a speaker, right? So I was like, all right, cool. I go through enrollment, go on the call, they talk to me about certain stuff, and I was saying, all right, you know what? Let me follow it through. Then when I went into the module, as you know, when we went into the module, everything shifted in my minds. Coaching, like at least for me, like just by being present with someone, you know, and not giving
Mhm.
advice, not solving problems, knowing that each person, everyone is complete, they're resourceful, they're capable, all the answers are inside themselves, and they are able to achieve and be empowered with themselves. All we're doing as coaches is just facilitating that, guiding, not helping, not giving advice. That was
Right.
crazy. And like, even when I'm out of the coaching mindset in my real life, I'm still weary of giving advice. And
Yes.
yeah, so that's how I actually got into coaching.
It helps like with the active listening and just like being present and
Present.
because I used to think like being present is like being able to give advice and listening to someone so deeply that you can like share with them like your thoughts on what they should do next, but really
Nope.
like being present enough to allow someone to like ask the right questions and allow someone to uncover like their own answers.
Yep. Powerful. It's weird, like many persons are on the phone, like talking to them. Are they talking to me? I should say, not talking to them. And they're like, "Are you
Mhm.
hearing me?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm hearing you." And they're like, "We're not talking." I'm like, "That's what listening is. Listening is me listening, not talking." And they're surprised
Right.
because like no, we're rewired. Like no, we're truly actively listening. We're not listening to just give an advice. We're just there listening, literally just being a sounding board, listening and
Mhm.
just being curious and like, why say this, and it's like it's someone like a godlike power, because the world is not like that per se. It's a very small percentage of
Right.
coaches are like that. So it's like you have this kind of godlike power just by just being there listening, curious of what it's saying.
Mhm.
And I had a haha moment during one of my sessions when
Yeah.
I was there being active listening, and I was like, am I really gonna get paid to just sit here and listen to someone figure out things for themselves? And I was like, oh shoot, no, come back. Self management, focus. You're here for the client, not for you. So
Mhm.
that was a hard one for me, where again with coaching, we're able to say like can coach any topic. We have to be an expert in an area to really be there, present, curious, because we're there to just help the client, discover things
Right.
on their own. So we don't have to be an expert, like I'm gonna talk about, rocket science and we're gonna talk about
Right.
engineering. Like, no, literally, we don't even know how the rocket work. Just being there present and having and putting their interests above ours, and we're just being there helping them, uncover what they want to uncover and move to where they want to go, and that's just
Yeah,
beautiful.
it really is. And it just means that you can connect with so many more people because you don't have to like have that common interest or have that expertise to connect with them.
Facts. You said it best.
And I was afraid about that too. I was like, like like to pick my niche, like I don't know, like I like do a lot of different things, but I'm not going to be able to relate like to everyone's career or something like that. But
Yeah,
it's not even about that. It's just about relating to the person
person.
and coaching the person, not the problem. Yeah.
Exactly. That's it. And it's very interesting. Again, I'm saying it's like we're given, we get this kind of godlike power because the world is conditioned to not do this.
Mhm. Yes. And a lot of times people don't aren't even aware of that, like,
Yeah,
and that's one of the messages I really want to like share in this podcast is a lot the self-awareness. It takes our own self-awareness to see where we've been conditioned to behave a certain way, to have certain preferences and thoughts and ideas, and where we are really ourselves. Like there's a difference between like who we've been told to be by society and taught to be by society and who we really are.
facts.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like we are at time. Do you have I've I do you have any final wisdom, words of wisdom for anyone? Oh, actually, where are you living now? Sorry, I didn't ask
Oh,
that.
yeah, yeah. I'm living now in Florida. I'm in Hollywood area in South Florida.
Hollywood, Florida.
Yeah.
Okay, is that like Central Florida?
That's South Florida, South. So it's close to
South.
Miami. Like I'll say
Oh,
10 minutes
okay.
from Miami. I'm South South.
Okay.
South
Okay.
Florida.
So I
Yeah.
guess that's like an easier flight to Jamaica then.
It's so easy. It's right there.
How far is that?
It's like 90 minutes in a flight.
Stop.
Yeah, as I up, I go
Oh.
down. Up and I go down. That's it.
Oh, nice. Okay. Really cool. What brought you to Florida? I guess like other than location, uh, being proximity to Jamaica.
All right, so that's another story, right? I'm gonna try
Yeah.
to summarize that story for listening and interest of time. So, I got engaged in 2018, right? So I was always
Mhm.
traveling back and forth from Jamaica to New York. So my fiance at the time, she was like, "Why are you wasting time? Coming here. You know, why you don't actually come here and get married?" So I came here in August 2018. It was the last time coming here, and she's
Mhm.
like, "Let's get married. Let come here. Let's move to Florida and get married." Because she was living in New York at the time. So we
Mhm.
moved down here to Florida. No, I'm not sure if you're aware that there's these so-called Irish stories of people moving to the states. I've always heard the stories, but I didn't know it could happen to me. So also, I'm not sure if you're aware that when you have a visiting visa, you have a certain time frame where you're allowed to stay in the country before you have to go back home.
Right.
Yeah. So what happened now? My visa was about to expire. She was like, "It's not working out. You need to leave, and if you don't leave, I'm gonna call immigration on you and all these things." So it was like
Oh.
heartbreak all over again, and
Oh.
that's like 8 years apart. Those heartbreaks, you know. And this is
Yes.
so after you have made all these relocation, make all these plans and all these different things. But the beauty about this is that my mindset, right, was
Mhm.
stronger than then. I cried, of course, but I
Yeah.
was able to recollect myself and really like figure it out. So I got homeless.
Yeah.
Let's shut up the story. I got homeless, and then, I had to figure it out. And long and short, I figured it out where I'm able now to travel back and forward from Jamaica and travel where I want to travel. I'm a residency card right now. So we did not work out. I'm not sure that the story. We did not work out. But that's how I got here. I got here because, my fiance at the time, you know, and again, going back to what I'm saying, everything happened for a reason. If I hadn't
Mhm.
met her, I wouldn't become an author, right? That's it.
Mhm.
I will be able to see the 25 states I've seen because I'm also doing this journey where I'm traveling across the 50 different states and
Oh,
capture
I love
the
that.
process. Yeah, and capture the process and what it takes to make 20 in-person sales of my book, The Choice, to total strangers. And I've completed 26 states already. So I have 24 more states to go. So that's what I'm saying. Really and truly, I live my life this way. Everything
Yes.
happened, but there's always a positive to come from it. So thanks to her for doing that.
Yes.
Not
And
thanks in the
yeah.
moment, but thank you, because if that didn't happen, I wouldn't be doing this right now. And I wouldn't be talking to you as well too.
Right. And you're inspiring other people with your story for sure.
Yeah. So
So
that's
I have
lovely.
yeah. I have to say, because I love road tripping. I think America's like built for road trips and for traveling state to state. I lived in a school bus for a year and traveled through the country. What's your favorite state that you've been to so far?
You put me on the spot. I always ask a question. Every time that I ask my question, I'm always like, your state, because I'm in your state.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Well,
yeah,
I'm unbiased. I'm not even in the America right now, and you don't
yeah.
have to say the state I'm from. Did you have you gone west at all?
All right, so let me try to go from my head until where we have been.
Yeah.
New York, Florida, New Jersey, Connecticut, North Carolina, South Carolina, Hawaii, Missouri, um, Arizona, Vegas, well,
Nice.
Nevada, not Vegas,
Nevada.
Nevada,
Yeah.
Vegas, Nevada, Louisiana, Tennessee, Philadelphia, Massachusetts. It's it's
You've done like
26.
the coastline,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
you've
yeah.
done like the
Percent.
U shape of the western and eastern coastline.
Yeah,
So you have
I've done Ohio. I've done Ohio as well. Um,
okay, cool.
yeah, I've done, like, there's so many. It's like
Yeah. What have you learned about just meeting new people, like going door to door, doing essential cold sales? What have you learned about people in general and interacting with people?
I learned that on the positive side, I learned that people are really supportive on the positive side, you know,
Mhm.
and I learned that people are people. They are good people everywhere you go.
Yes.
And you find every now and then you find a little nasty one, but on the positive side, they are good people everywhere you go. So some person might look at this and say, "No, I'm not gonna do that. Why should I go do that? No, it's crazy." But me doing that it really teach me and showing other people as well. So guess what? There are people there who are there waiting to support you. And I've met every state I go to, there's always some message or someone who stands out and really like give me a message so I keep going
Yeah.
forward. You know what I mean? So for me, I was
Yes,
like,
no,
yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, and if I didn't go, I wouldn't actually meet that person and get that story. I get that message. So yeah,
Yes.
they are great people everywhere we go. That's how I would say it. I'm not a
Yes.
foodie, as I said before. So for me, it's really the people that I meet.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that's great, a great nugget to share, because I think a lot of people can be reluctant to go to new places because they're afraid of how people are going to be, how people may treat them, if they'll be accepted, if people will be kind. And that is the thing that I found. There are nice people everywhere you go.
Yep,
And if you're in that energy, you're going to attract them.
that's facts. That's facts. That's facts.
Yeah. I have to encourage you to go to the Pacific Northwest, Wyoming. That's not like the Pacific Northwest, but like Wyoming's one of the most beautiful states that I've been to. Utah, like all the ones that are like really quiet, you think like, oh, there's nothing going on there. Montana, and then of course like Washington and Oregon. beautiful, beautiful, beautiful states.
Nice.
Yeah,
I
if
mean,
you ever get the chance.
no, I mean, the goal is to go across
Well,
all
you
50.
will. Yeah,
Yes,
you will.
yes. So, I mean, like, it's happening.
Yeah, you'll have to do a Pacific Northwest tour.
Yeah, it's happening.
Cool. Okay, so I will ask again because I feel like I went into a whole other vein of conversation. Final thoughts for like the biggest lesson or wisdom that you've learned in your life thus far, even advice that you would give to your younger self.
All right. Younger self, everything starts with mindset.
Hmm.
That's it. Everything starts with mindset. That's it in a nugget. The
Yeah.
mindset and choices.
Yeah.
Yeah, mindset choices. So just to add a little more, where you are today are based on the choices you have made, whether consciously or unconsciously. That's it.
Hmm.
So if you want to change where you want to be, just choices you're making today, and with consistency, it can bring you where you want to go. If you don't make that choice, you're still making a choice same way to be somewhere you don't want to be. So it comes back to
Hmm.
choices.
I actually really like that you said that because the unconscious choices that we make, it's hard to know that what we're doing in the moment. But again, we can reflect on where we are and we can kind of put the pieces together of, well, what choices did I make to get here? What was I doing that I was that kind of in like motor memory
Yep.
or like that I just did without really thinking about. And then like again, like changing habits and things to change those immediate subconscious decisions that we're making.
Yeah. Choices.
Amazing. Okay, Omanzo, billionaire Omanzo Barrett, this was a wonderful conversation. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you, Courtney. I appreciate it. It was refreshing.
Yeah, it was refreshing. And you've got great energy and like such a great story that I'm really excited to share it.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Yeah. I'll a couple of just housekeeping things. I will send you a link when your episode goes live.
Hmm.
But before that, if you want to send me, I put a photo of everyone who's being interviewed for their episode. So if you want to send me your photo, or if it's okay for me to use your Facebook profile photo, I'll use that. Um, and oh, the other thing is each episode has like a question and answer component to it. And so if there are questions that people have from listening, or if there's enough like questions where it seems like I might need to have another conversation with you, that could also be something that happens in the future. So just putting that out there now.
Oh, sure. I got you.
Okay,
Yeah, I got
cool.
you. Yeah.
Alrighty. How far along in the program are you? What cohort are you in?
I'm in court 5. So graduation
Oh, me
is.
too.
Oh, okay. So,
Yeah,
we're getting the same
we're
time.
graduating the same. Yeah. When
Yeah.
is it? Like first week of December? Next week
Yeah.
sometime?
Well, yeah. Well,
Okay.
no. I'm court 5, not 4. I'm 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I'm five. I'm five too. I don't keep up
I
with the
think
calendar.
I think we're start submitting our hours the 18th. So I think graduation is gonna be, if I'm not mistaken, is like early January, somewhere around that time.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
I, yeah, I already submitted my hours, so
Well,
I feel like I graduate soon. I don't
okay,
know.
okay. You're the boss.
We'll see.
You got this.
Yeah, we'll see. Oh, good. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Amanzo. Have a great day.
You're most welcome, and you too as well.
All right. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Thank you for joining us today. If you like what you heard, please subscribe and join us in our next conversation where we'll be exploring the extraordinary lives of ordinary people. I'm Courtney Lofton, and this is Ordinary Eccentrics.